Late Wednesday, the Public Utility Commission announced it is fining Texas New Mexico Power $1.7 million. The PUC says the electric company failed to upgrade its electric meters before the 3G network they relied on was taken down. Investigative reporter Amy Davis is here now, breaking this all down for us. I know you exposed these issues earlier this year.
Yeah, months ago. First, last year, and then again, we did another story, most recent story in February. Texas New Mexico Power has meters for about 170,000 customers. So sort of the Alvin, Galveston, Clear Lake area southeast of Houston. And so basically what we uncovered is that the meters that read their electricity, how much energy each of these customers are using, were outdated. And they were outdated because when AT&T pulled the 3G network offline in 2022, that's what was connecting them. That's what they were using. Well, so the PUC now says, you know what, Texas New Mexico Power, you had 3 years notice that was going to happen. And you failed to prepare. They said they took no action to start changing out those meters or even order new meters until 18 months after they learned that it was going to happen. And so Texas New Mexico Power told us when we did the story, like, oh, it's a supply chain issue. There was nothing we could do about it. You know, our vendor who we're getting these meters from just doesn't have all of them to give to us. What the PUC is saying is, you know what, it was a failure to prepare. And because of that, Texas New Mexico Power was violating its rules, its tariffs that say you cannot estimate meter reads more than 3 months in a row. They were doing it in some cases 7 months in a row. And so then by the time they got somebody out there to actually read it, it was causing electric bills like $1,000 over, $2,000 over.
For thousands of people.
Yes. And so this bill, the fine that the PUC is sending them, I'm referring to this report that was just released yesterday, they're recommending a fine of $1.7 million, or basically that equates to about $100 for every affected customer. I mean, the woman that we did our story with just last month, she received a $2,000 bill from JEXA because JEXA gets the meter reads in her case from Texas New Mexico Power.
I recall this.
Yeah.
I recall this story.
And so JEXA said, well, that's what Texas New Mexico Power said you used, so you have to pay this bill or we're going to have to shut you off. So she paid her $2,100 electric bill knowing full well that it was wrong.
Right.
And then when Texas New Mexico Power finally told JEXA, oh, we were wrong, here's the real read, JEXA said, oh, here's a credit for the amount that we owe you. And it's like, a credit? How long is it going to take her to use $2,100 worth of electricity?
Thousands of dollars.
So when we did when we got in touch with them, JEXA actually issued a refund, which they should have done in the first place. But this is the PUC saying, no, these rules are there for a reason. Now you will pay for your failure to prepare.
$100 per household impacted by this?
Yeah, impacted by this. Now, those customers will never see that money. This is a fine, an administrative penalty to Texas New Mexico Power. They can appeal. So they've got 20 days whether to say, we accept it, we were guilty, you know, yes, we'll pay the fine, or 20 days to say we shouldn't have to pay this fine for X, Y, and Z. They can have a hearing about it.
In your reporting, did you find out how many households are impacted? Thousands, of course, but did you get a ballpark figure?
Well, but when we did the story, I think they said there were 10,000 meters remaining.
Wow.
But basically all 170,000 meters that they own relied on that 3G network. And I will say one other thing here. I mean, you know, we've been doing our whole water series on water meters in the city of Houston. And what is somewhat striking to me is that the city is now saying that they're having the same problems with these remote read devices attached to their water meters. And they're saying, oh, well, they're outdated, they're broken, they're no longer transmitting the readings. And that's why we're estimating so many of your water bills. Well, they're also blaming supply chain issues for the reason why they're not able to get all these reads accurately. Well, if there was anybody regulating the city water department, they would say, too bad, so sad. That's your job. You failed to prepare. I mean, those reading devices were put in 1997. So when did they actually say, oh, let's go ahead and put the money aside and contract with the company to get these devices? Did they do that during the pandemic? Did they do that the year before it started? I mean, they were well over 20 years old by the time they actually ever even said, let's keep up with infrastructure and make this investment.
And we're talking about two industries here, but there are so many industries that have, you know, blamed supply chain since the pandemic. And yeah, at some point it's believable, but then it comes to the point where this is now a year, 2 years post.
And these are issues that are health and safety. I mean, these are your water, your electricity. You feel like you have to pay these bills because if you don't, you can't really live in Houston with no electricity in certain months of the year. You certainly can't live without water. I mean, so these are the reasons that we're staying on top of these stories, trying to hold these companies accountable. And again, this information about Texas New Mexico Power just came down late yesterday afternoon from the PUC. And then right before I came out here, the public information officer from the PUC said, hey, just making sure you saw this report that came out yesterday. I said, oh, we've already had it on this morning, and we're about to go out again. And I was just sort of asking for clarification. I was like, this says that you guys recommend this fine. And she was like, no, we're saying that, yes, they have to pay this fine, but they do have this appeal period, like 20 days.
Have you been able to circle back around with the lady you interviewed back in February?
No, I was going to forward her the report and just say, like, hey, did you see this? She did get her money back and was very grateful. But then last year, there was another customer who received a $4,000 electric bill. And Texas New Mexico Power at that time didn't mea culpa and explain why her bill was so much. They just try to sort of not reply.
Well, I know I appreciate you coming on the show and talking about this, and I know so many people who are impacted by this appreciate the work you're doing to get answers here.
Thank you. We'll follow up when there are follow-ups.